Have you ever thought about why it's called post-traumatic stress disorder? I think about that. And the answer I come up with is that for people like us that were hurt repeatedly while we were growing up, and many of us who've had harmful adult relationships because we haven't healed those patterns from our childhood yet, we actually have a stress disorder. In this video, I'm going to share the game changer that's in the back of my mind almost all the time when I'm dealing with stress. Because after childhood trauma, being able to manage stress in a healthy, adaptive way that gets you stronger over time is going to be the very thing that allows you to recognize your triggers, to neutralize them, and regulate your emotions enough that you can do the rest of the healing work. If we haven't met yet, I'm Tamara Ridge, licensed marriage and family therapist and survivor of childhood trauma. I've been there where you are, and I'm here to help you along as you heal from your childhood trauma. So let's get into this video so I can teach you how to recognize, understand, and control your stress as a survivor. Now, maybe you've noticed that your triggers get worse when you're stressed, right? It's because of what stress is and how it interacts with our trauma brain. So to understand that, we need to start with the correct definition of stress. Stress is what we call it when something happens to us or around us, and we think about what happened in a way that makes everything feel worse. It fits this formula. Stress equals an external event or a memory of that event plus the way we think about the event. As an example, think about sitting down to a nice piece of cake. If it's a favorite flavor, or if it's going to be really a pleasant experience, then it isn't likely to be any stress with that because your thoughts about it will be positive. But what if sitting down to a piece of cake means that you're going to have a health issue? So in my case, I'm allergic to dairy, and most cake has dairy in it. And then someone says, I made this beautiful wedding cake. Please have just a tiny piece or maybe just a bite. And now you're thinking, gee, this person is going to believe that I don't love them if I won't take a bite of their cake, even though I said I can't for health reasons. So there's some stress on that, right? Or if you think about sitting in traffic as me time, you're going to feel a different level of stress than if you think about traffic as keeping you from something that you want or need, right? The thing is, when something happens and we have a history of childhood trauma, thoughts about what happened are likely to be colored by something difficult from our past, most likely something triggering. Think about that for a second. Find something that stresses you out. Then ask yourself, does this feel familiar? Like something you've been through before? Something that might have been connected to your trauma? And then you'll understand what I mean. That's why stress is hard for us as survivors of childhood trauma. So what can you do about it? One of the benefits of looking at stress in the way I'm about to teach you is that reducing your general levels of overwhelm by thinking about stress management this way will set you up to be able to heal from childhood trauma more easily, because it helps you separate general life stress from that triggered and stressed state that happens because of your trauma. And getting a handle on the general life stress is what will help you focus in on and correct the triggers with so much more ease. Let me show you how it works. And at the end of this video, I'll give you some strategies for how to use what you're learning here in your daily life. So stress basically has 5 levels. Level 1 is a recovery state, but it's a tuned-in state. It's not sleep. It's a recovery state where your muscles are completely relaxed, your eyes are usually closed, your thoughts are peaceful, and you're thinking all is well. There's no connection to the outside world or the environment around you on level 1. To give you an example, when I was learning to think about stress in this way decades ago, I saw a video of a bunch of monks sitting around on the concrete, and each one of them had a bucket of ice water next to them, and they were meditating, and they just had this little cloth around their sitting parts, and an assistant pulled a sheet out of the ice water and wrapped it around them. Within less than a minute, you could see steam coming off of the sheets because the monks were so good at staying completely relaxed and staying so tuned into themselves and not tuned into their environment around them, the cold. They were able to dry the towel and not have any flinch response at all. So the bottom line, this recovery state, this level 1 state, is not something that most of us can do. When we're recovering, tuned out, we're often asleep. This is not the same as level 1. I'm telling you about this state of stress because if I said there were only 4 levels of stress, I'd be lying, because there is this one, which none of us can do. So I'm telling you right now, don't feel like you have to achieve that, because we can't. Most of us can't anyway. That's something that's achieved by people who are in constant study of meditation, not people like you and me who have regular lives. Second level of stress is also a recovery state, but it's a tuned in state. In this state, your eyes are open, you're aware of your environment, but your body feels calm and relaxed. Your thoughts are peaceful. You're not thinking about your stresses or your to-do lists or the last time you were triggered. You're really just aware that your body is relaxed, you're feeling good and at ease. There are a lot of things you can do to get into this level 2 state. Those things include things like meditation for normal people. Other people read, some people listen to music, some people talk to a friend. For myself, I just love springtime and summer mornings. When I'm lying in bed before I have to get up, I love it really when the sun comes through the window and I can hear the sounds of the world waking up. I'm relaxed, my bed is super comfy, I don't have anywhere to go, my eyes are open, I'm enjoying those first few moments of being awake during the day. That's a tuned in recovery state. You're kind of just taking a breath, relaxing, enjoying where you are instead of thinking about the next thing you have to do. I'll put a list of level 2 activities below in the description for you. This is a really important state to be able to get yourself to on a regular basis. The thing to remember here is that because of your childhood trauma experience, you may have very few of these behaviors that are focused on what we usually call self-care. It's not unusual to think that you don't deserve to take care of yourself because your needs weren't met when you were younger. And if that's the case, I recommend this video to help you work through the steps of clearing out the trigger that says it's not okay for me to relax. It's also important to remember that level 2 activities will be different for every person, and it might take some experimentation for you to figure out what works for you. We want to do recovery state level 2 activities every day because level 3 is the place we want to be. So level 3 is a problem-solving state, and we want to live most of our time in this problem-solving state. So when you're in the problem-solving state, you have mild tension. You may be aware that there's a problem, but you have thoughts like, oh, that's okay, I know how to solve this, or I can figure it out. This is different from when we're in a fight or flight state, which is level 4, and I'll talk about that one in a minute, where we don't have full access to our IQ because all of the blood that should be in our brain helping us think and problem solve and do the things that we need to do when we're in this state are in our extremities. It's moving away from our core and from our brain and into our legs and arms to get us ready to fight. So in level 3, we do have full access to our IQ. People have really asked me if our IQ changes. It doesn't. But depending on where you are in stress, you can have less access to your smarts when you're stressed out. And that's really important to recognize. So here in level 3, you have mild tension in your body. You're aware of a problem, but you're saying things to yourself like, I got this, I'll figure it out. Here you have confidence mixed with maybe a little bit of tension. You're feeling a sense of self-esteem and well-being while you're also aware that there's a problem. We want to live in this place. We want to actually increase the space of time that we're in this level 3 state. Unfortunately, most people who aren't thinking about managing stress well are thinking that they're in a level 3 when they're actually in a level 4. A great example of this is when you ask someone, how are you? And they go, I'm fine. But you know from their facial expression or from their tone of voice or from whatever's just been happening that they're not fine. They're usually, this is what most of us do, in the next stage, saying that they're calm and cool, but on the inside, it's really different. And if you're a person who's lived with trauma, you're a person who has triggers and PTSD symptoms, you likely spend a lot of time in level 4 pretending that you're at level 3. One of the things about level 4 is that you can be in that state telling yourself you're okay, but if you're saying you're okay like this, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, then it's not really okay. You're not relaxed, you're not calm, because there's a sense of panic. Level 4 is a losing control state. In a losing control state, you're saying to yourself things like, this isn't fair. If you're in a relationship, you're thinking, how can I get away? How can I make this stop? What do I need to do to change the situation? In relationship, you're also in a level 4 when your partner is talking and you're thinking about your argument in your head instead of listening. At level 4, there's this internal sense of panic. You have an increasing sense of body tension. And this might be the state where you start to feel physical pain. Pain and panic. Anxiety happens here. Anger happens here. This is where emotional flashbacks happen and where we are when we know that we're triggered. The last level is level 5. That's the out of control state. Now there are only 2 feelings in the out of control state, and they are terror and rage. This is where you do damage to yourself, damage to others, and damage to property. This is where you say things in relationship that you can't take back because you know that your partner isn't going to forget or your child won't forget. This is where you do things to harm yourself because maybe there was a pattern of being harmed before, and so you go to that place and repeat patterns that were done to you. In level 5, you feel like you have to get away and do something desperate to survive. In the losing control state, you're really not using IQ at all. You're actually fully in fight or flight. Now that you know what the 5 levels of stress are, let me tell you how to use this information. First, there are 2 things that you can do that take you to a level 4 that are actually good for you. One of them is exercise, and the other, it's orgasm. Now, you don't want to be in an out of control state and then jump into sex with your partner because it's not usually going to be a good experience when that happens. But when you are in a good relaxed state, either in a recovery state or in the problem-solving state, and then you engage with your partner in intimate activity and it takes you to orgasm. Orgasm is an out of control state that drops you back to level 2 recovery. If you're exercising right, when you go to the state where you have spent all of your energy and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore, this has to stop. When that happens at the end of these 2 activities, they bring you back to level 2. That's why exercise is really great for stress management, because it helps you increase your buffer zone. What we want to do on a day-to-day basis is pay attention. If you're spending way too much time in this losing control state, and let's face it, many of us who have to deal with trauma, who are trying to learn how to heal ourselves, we live in a level 4. Constantly in argument, constantly trying to figure out how to get out of a situation, constantly anticipating negative situations. And when that's the case, you're in a losing control state. So here's the formula. The more often you find yourself here, when you find yourself in a level 4, do a level 2 activity to get you back in level 3. It's that simple. When you notice in your body that you're in an out of control state, find a level 2 activity to do to help you get back into level 3. The ideal is to do enough level 2 activities often enough to increase that buffer zone of level 3, so your level 3 problem-solving buffer zone is really nice and wide. Then, when you're in problem-solving state, something can come in that can cause mild tension, but you've got it because you've been able to manage stress well enough with those level 2 activities that you can actually take a hit, stay cool, figure it out, and move on without going to a level 4. And that's the goal. So, in order to implement what I've just been teaching you, what you have to be able to do is have a regular practice, a daily, sometimes hourly practice of checking in with yourself to ask yourself, where am I? What level am I at right now? So here's a little tool. Use this color code. I want you to associate level 1 with purple, level 2 with blue, level 3 is green, level 4 is orange, and level 5 is red. Now, grab a Post-it note and use some markers to write 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the color code to match the system that I've just given you. Nobody has to know what this is, but make several Post-its and put one on your bathroom mirror, put one on the dashboard of your car, one on your refrigerator. Put them everywhere that you're regularly finding yourself to remind yourself to check in. What is my stress level? If you find yourself at 4, find some level 2 activities that you can do. And there's some that you can do right on the spot, including breathing, and that's in this video, that will help you get back into a problem-solving state. So with this little training, I've made a couple of handouts for you. One is for you to keep a log of your experience when you're at each stress level, what your thoughts and feelings are, because the more you get connected with what you think and feel when you're feeling stressed, the more you'll be able to identify that pattern and deconstruct it so you can really reduce your stress and heal yourself. The second thing that I'm going to do is list the recovery state level 2 activities in the description. I'm going to put them in the download below as well so that you have a list at the ready. Look through the list. Identify what things would feel like a hug to you. What would feel like nurturing, self-loving. Things that you know take you down to a more relaxed state. Have those ready whenever you need them so you can go, okay, wait, what are my level 2 activities? Do that until these level 2 activities become regular things that are part of your routine. So we want to use level 2 for maintenance, prevention, and crisis management. So look through the list, identify 3 or 4 things that work for you, and start putting them in your life regularly so you can start managing stress instead of it managing you. Thanks for watching and keep me updated on your progress. I'm Tamara Ridge.